Hello and welcome to Engine Adventures review of this 2023 Hyundai Palisade. So, I'm not going to be able to do an off-road test with this one. It's actually not too much snow down here by the lake, but up on the test hill, there's too much snow to even get on there with this thing. So, we'll just mess around with it and do a little bit of fun driving videos. I guess we've got some from driving in the snow and all that, but anyway. I really like the Palisade. You know, probably are all aware of the Kia Telluride and all the critical acclaims it's getting. It's like one of the best three-row crossover SUV things on the market, and it's been winning lots of awards. And the Palisade is the Telluride but nicer. So it's not quite as sporty in my opinion as a Telluride. It doesn't quite look as nice in my opinion, but it's a little bit more upscale, a little bit more luxurious inside and out, I guess. So let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. Palisade is powered by a 3.8 liter V6 gas direct injection, 292 horsepower, I believe, 262 foot-pounds of torque, and it feels okay. So the 8-speed auto behind it, which is that piece of aluminum right there, that's the aluminum housing on it. Anyway, that 8-speed auto, it seems to do pretty good. I mean, obviously the Palisade's not going to be super fast for being a three-row vehicle with that power and torque, but it doesn't feel underpowered. It does just fine. Cruising on the freeway and stuff, you're not constantly shifting gears or anything. It just kind of goes. So it's well-tuned, and despite maybe not having the highest peak horsepower and torque, it does pretty darn good. So a few features of the Palisade: you get this cascading grille, as they call it. Just kind of the angles of it make it look kind of like a waterfall. The LED headlights, and it says full LED system right there. No fog lights on this, but look how low the headlights are compared to many vehicles today where the headlights are up here. I haven't had to drive through much fog. There's a little bit this morning, but not enough to warrant using fog lights. So I don't know how well they do in real fog, but honestly not too bad. And then of course 20-inch wheels, multi-spoke, just kind of a higher end luxury design to them, and a lot of chrome around. You get the roof rails around the windows, and they've made it go, instead of just going around each window, of course it comes around, but it ends here at the front of the third row instead of at the back of it, which is kind of a unique and interesting design that I haven't really seen elsewhere. And then of course chrome down there on the bottom and around the back. It can tow 5,000 pounds. This one's not equipped with a hitch, so I wasn't able to do any towing tests with it. But basically the Palisade is just a little bit more upscale from a Telluride. So let's take a look inside and talk about some of those features that it comes with. Okay, and we'll just fire it up. So it does have a wrong button. Actually, I'll show you that now that I got it. So this front button here adjusts your bolster out here. It does have massaging seats. I haven't been able to find settings anywhere on the screen to show what it's doing, so I just kind of just keep pushing the button until it's massaging the back and the bottom. Anyway, it's not aggressive. It's not like a real powerful, good massage, but it's there. It'll help keep you awake when you're driving, maybe. Here's the infotainment screen. And one thing I want to talk about, I spent 2 weeks in a Tacoma, and even with the dirty cameras, it's so much more clear on this thing than the Tacoma. So anyway, not that it matters, but you can adjust all these. You can make your clock a different clock and compass and whatever. You can switch through all this stuff, and it does have some interesting features here. So you have a programmable button here, and I have it set to set the radio to quiet mode, which, whatever. And then this one will adjust between, it has these rainy day, and you can cycle through all of these using the regular radio controls here. You can cycle through these sounds of nature, and then of course the radio, which I have muted. And then you have another programmable button here, which I use for the third Moro passenger seat talking thing, whatever. It's got the microphone and talks back to the third row, which it was kind of fun. I was able to just whisper, and I believe the microphones must be right here. But anyway, I was able to whisper basically, and then a child in the third row could hear me just fine. Sorry about the fan. Let me turn that down. There we go. The screen, of course, is adjustable as well, and you can change. So right now we're in comfort mode. Has all the different drive modes. Go sport, of course, you get angry with red. Smart. Eco is going to be greenish, and then snow, it's going to be white like the snow. Anyway, a bunch of different drive modes there, and it does have the center differential lock right there. And it's a multi-plate clutch system, I believe, so when you hit that button, it just engages those and tries to lock it together as best as it can. Man, the last time I had a Palisade or Telluride was actually a Telluride, and 4 years ago, I think. So I do have a video up of it. It's not on my normal test hill, but if you want to see some off-road, it should be similar. This should be similar to that Telluride I tested. Anyway, I'm not gonna have great off-road stuff for you today. And you can flip through the menu stuff here. Anyway, there's not a lot. And navigation, information about the vehicle, and this one is your kind of your safety settings and stuff like that. So I do want to, because I'm not going to remember all these, this thing does have a lot of safety features. So on the mirror there, you can see the orange triangle, not orange, but the triangle on the mirror that anyway, like right there. It's kind of hard to see, but it will illuminate when there's a vehicle in your blind spot. Also, it has a head-up display, which might be better so that way you can see the reflector stuff there, but the head-up display will show when there's a vehicle in your blind spots as well, and it's quite nice. If you need that type of feature, it's cool to have it there in the heads-up display. Makes it real easy to see. Let's see what else it has. Lane keep assist, forward collision avoidance, blind spot, safe exit assist, so you don't open your door when there's a car driving by and rip your door off. Driver attention warming, high beam, the automatic high beam stuff. Adaptive cruise control, with you can set the distances here, and anyway, all sorts of stuff. Parking collision assist, and it also has the feature where on the key you can put that right side up, move the vehicle, so you remote start it, and then you can push these buttons here and it will move the vehicle forward and back. And I'll try right now. Didn't think so. So with me sitting in it, of course, it's not going to do that. But if you remote start it, you can pull it in and out of a parking space, just straight in, straight out. Whatever, not a feature I'd really need, but if I had to park really close to someone, maybe that would be a good benefit. Other features up here in the front: heated and ventilated seats and heated steering wheel. Auto hold, so when you're at a stoplight, just push the brake a little harder. Auto stop start, parking, the cameras, downhill assist, parking sensors, climate control, physical buttons for all that stuff. I actually really like the layout of this as far as having everything there. It's kind of nothing's within reach of your hand when you're just relaxed here. So it would be nice maybe to see some of those features here, move all of this stuff up there. Anyway, I don't know the design behind that, but it would be nice to be able to reach the volume knob and stuff without having to be down here. Although, of course, you have them on the steering wheel, which is nice too. So you can access a lot of the stuff from the steering wheel. So it does have just three zones: driver, front passenger, and the rear zone here. And the rear seats here are ventilated and heated. So that's becoming a little bit more common, but there still aren't a lot of vehicles that have those features. And then I missed the mirror up here, so regular mirror or the rear view camera mirror system, which this is good. You have kids in the back, you can see them, talk to them directly, or people in the back you want to talk to face to face. Makes it a little bit easier with the mirror, but when you have a bunch of stuff, you can see behind you real easy. Then of course the HomeLink system there. Sunroof, it's got the panorama. So the front one here does actually open with that button, and the slider's manual, but it'll open automatically. If you open the window, the slider will go back. It just doesn't come forward. And then this is the rear, just sunshade, and again, it gives the back an open feel as you've seen on many other vehicles. And let's just climb back there and take a look. So second row seating, this seat's a little cold. Just throw the seat heater on. The seats slide quite a ways forward. I mean, even all the way forward. My knees are touching, but just barely. So even one step back, I have a tiny bit of clearance there for my knees. And so there is quite a bit of adjustability, and I'll move it forward. Well, let's just leave it all the way back for the third row when we climb in there. It has 2 USB ports here, one on each side for the middle row, and then 115 volt and 12 volt outlets here. This one, of course, has the center seat walkthrough, and there's little cubbies there. I forgot to mention the vents are up here on the top, and they have the open and close right there. I much prefer the vents on the top, especially for babies in car seats. And just personally, I like having cold air blowing on my face in the summer. And then in the heat, of course, just comes from the floor. So I prefer these vents. You can point that directly down on a child in the car seat. And this does have the sunshades as well, which actually make a big difference. So, I mean, from here, it doesn't look like it, but it really does block quite a bit of sunlight. All right, back in the third row. I can move that pretty easy. There we go. So that's with the seat all the way back. So I fit just barely in here. And this seat's cold too. So why don't we just go ahead and heat this one up? It does have heated seats in the third row, 2 more USB ports, you know, one on either side. And honestly, not too bad on space. Of course, to get out, it has that button right there. And I believe you can lock it in place. So there are some where that seat has to come all the way back before you can lock it in place. But on this one, just put your foot up wherever you want it, and it locks in place right there. So now there's plenty of leg room. And as I showed you up there, you can still have quite a bit of leg room, even with, so let's get a kind of a comfortable spot, not too much. And then I'll move back to that other seat and show you how much room there is up there with this one at a comfortable spot. And then of course, the seat back does automatically recline there, and they're power folding and all that stuff. You can actually fold and unfold them from the touch screen, but sorry, just in the seat there. Anyway, you can fold and unfold those from the touch screen, and then back there, which we'll look in the cargo area in a minute, you have the controls to do all that as well. So here, so I have about the same amount of legroom in the second row as I did in the third row with that other seat, or sorry, with the seat pulled forward. And I locked myself in, but it is powered, so it has both windows and child locks are powered with that button. So you can just simply push the button to lock or unlock the child safety locks and the windows as well. The rear window here does not open separately as far as I can tell. So it has the line there. It looks like it should or might, but I didn't find any buttons to do that, just the big one here. Would be nice to have the glass open separate just so you can have access to things without whatever rolling out. So if you have a bunch of soccer balls or whatever in here, you open it up and they go rolling out. Anyway, good amount of storage underneath here. The spare tire is underneath and you access it through here, of course, tools, and it's just a compact spare, not a full size. And then so here's that panel I was talking about. You can fold second and third row or third row seats however you would like. Here you can control those, and they're electronic, so you just push that button and let go and it just keeps going. So they are anyway, one touch basically, just push it, hold it. And if you do get the storage cover, it just sits right down in there. And then when you need it, you can set it up there and cover the third row area, cargo area with that. And a few, that's to hold the seat belt, but it does have clip there on it. And then grocery hooks, plastic tie down hooks. They're not real strong, they are there. And grocery hook there, another tie down there, and 2 child seat anchors here. So you can either put one seat in the middle or one on the side. You can't, there's not enough room for 2 seats side by side there. And of course the second row has those same child seat anchors. So yeah, I think that's about all there is here on the back. And there's no, I'm sure you can adjust the height, but not from here. So you just hit the button and that closes it. Let's take a look at the window sticker. And this one has no options. I think the only option is carpet floor mats. So this is the calligraphy, so 2023 Palisade calligraphy, all-wheel drive, and it has basically just comes standard with everything. Base price $50,800, $215 for those floor mats, with a $12.95 destination brings a total of $52,310. And fuel mileage, I haven't been getting that good, but it's winter time. Well, it's April 3rd or 4th or something right now, so it's not really, should be springtime, but with all the snow we've been getting, I've been letting it warm up a little bit and been messing around with that with the remote start and moving the vehicle remotely as well. So 21 combined, 19 city, 25 highway, and if I grab the info page, wrong one, this one, there we go. I've been averaging 15.3, so well below that, but like I said, I've been doing a lot more idling and testing and that kind of stuff, so it's not going to be as good as it would normally be. One thing I didn't mention, wireless charger here, USB, and to turn the wireless charger on, it just is automatic, so you don't have to push anything. And it does have these cup holders, so you can't see. Well, anyway, they fold out of the way, I should say, and then when you need them, just hit the button and they pop out. So, I don't know, useful feature. If you need the extra space and don't need the cup holders, then that's good. And it does have a cover there as well, and it's not reflective. Good job, Hyundai, by making that not reflective. So, of course, it's slow open. A couple more 12-volt, and I believe that one's USB, yeah, USB-C. And most of these ports, that one's a USB-A, but all the other ones on the vehicle have been a USB-C. We got about 5, 6, 7 inches of powder, probably 4, 5 inches, let's call it 5. 5 inches of powder last night. It's really lightweight snow. The day before was really heavy snow, but we only got like an inch or 2. And this one we got quite a bit more depth, but weight-wise, it's probably about the same amount of water content because this is so light. Anyway, the Palisade here has snow mode, and I'm watching on the screen. I'm not going to move the camera this time. It's mounted up to the sunroof. Otherwise I'd show you, but it has a little display that shows you how much power is going to each wheel. And here in snow mode, it's pretty evenly split front to rear, and that's really all it tells you. It's not gonna split side to side in this vehicle except by using the brakes, so there's no torque vectoring or anything for the most part. Anyway, and yeah, in snow mode it dampens the throttle a bit, so even when I kind of get on it, give it a bit more throttle, it's not super responsive, which is what you want in snow mode. You're wanting smooth, controlled movements. You don't want to be jerky. That goes for everything: steering, gas, brake, whatever it is, changing lanes. You do everything very gradual and smooth and you'll be just fine. And I think most of the people out here get that, but you'll see that we won't even be able to get up to freeway speeds here in just a minute, because when it snows like this, there's always someone or a few someones that don't have the experience, and they end up causing problems for everyone else. And the other thing is, if you can, don't drive in the unplowed lanes. You can see the one I'm in versus the ones over there. The carpool lane on the far left is clear, and then 2 other lanes are not, and then 2 lanes over here are clear. So do your best to stay in the better lanes, obviously. It is nice, however, over there aren't rough transitions, so a lot of times in between the lanes there's a big snow bank, you know, 4 inches deep or whatever. When you try and transition between the lanes, it'll catch you and make you spin. Anyway, you guys aren't here to hear me talk about how to drive in the snow. You're here to hear about the Palisade, and honestly, in my opinion, a little bit uglier than Telluride, but much nicer inside, or a little bit nicer inside. I know that Telluride gets all the acclaim awards and best vehicle and whatever, but the Telluride is actually, in my opinion, a little bit, sorry, the Palisade is actually a little bit nicer inside. This one has 3rd row heated seats and whatever. I mean, it's got a lot of features, and it just feels and looks a little bit nicer inside compared to the Telluride. I was hoping it wouldn't be as plowed on the back road so we could have a little fun, but looks like it's all pretty well cleared up. On the freeway, high speeds, you know, whatever, 70, 80 miles an hour, it's pretty smooth, pretty quiet. It's not bad. It's not luxury vehicle, Lexus RX L or any of that stuff, but it's definitely pretty smooth, pretty quiet. And most of my driving with this was without any passengers, so it's a little bit stiff, honestly. So I mean, it remains planted, it doesn't lean in the corners and stuff because of that, but it is a little bit rougher. Once you load it up, I'm sure it smooths out quite a bit, and as far as the ride goes, and then it's, you know, it's always pretty quiet, whatever. Around town, the steering, it's a little bit light. It's not too light, but I think that's a little bit of the difference between the Palisade and the Telluride. Telluride feels just a little bit more sporty, and the Palisade feels a little bit more up class. And I can feel that for sure. It feels just like it's a little bit more, you know, lightweight steering. The brakes are smooth. I'm sure the Palisade brakes are probably, or the Telluride brakes are really similar to this. I'm getting those two mixed up over and over. But anyway, the brakes, everything, and so it just seems a little bit more damp, not quite as aggressive on this, and you know, it makes for a nice smooth drive if that's what you're going for. If you're going for a sporty drive, it does have sport mode, and it probably stiffens up the steering and all that stuff to make it a little more responsive. But in the little bit of sport mode driving that I did, it seems to adjust the throttle a ton and the steering just a little bit. So, and I can feel it. It definitely did tighten up the steering a little bit. Sport mode also gives you, you know, kind of all-wheel drive all the time. Normally, when you're kind of just coasting or going real slow like I am right now at a consistent speed, it will be front-wheel drive only unless you're in one of the, like the sport mode. And the snow mode, it still actually does more front-wheel drive than sport mode does, which is interesting. But sport mode gets you, you know, quicker throttle response, quicker downshifts, holds on to the gears a little longer, all that kind of stuff, and makes it drive a bit more sporty, but it just doesn't feel quite as the same as the Telluride. All right, 0 to 60, we should be all set, and auto stop start, turn that off. There we go. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Flat footing, took it a second to jump in. You can see all 4 wheels getting the power there. 60. Okay. And again, it took it just a second to get going. I bet it would be quite a bit faster with even a hair of brake torquing, but we're not going to worry about that now. So you can see here, 8.84 seconds. Thank you for watching Engine Adventures review of this 2023 Hyundai Palisade. This is the calligraphy, the highest end edition. Really quite a nice vehicle. It's good, a family vehicle. It has a surprising amount of space for how small it is. Inside you can easily fit 6 people, I would say. 7 is a little tight, and even 6 adults without much issue. So overall, really not a bad vehicle. I didn't show you the payload, but it's something like 1,100 pounds. 1,173 pounds, which is more than many half-ton trucks. So really pretty good payload on this thing. Overall, I enjoy the Palisade a lot. It's not it's a nice vehicle. It's not an exciting vehicle. It doesn't give you that excitement, but as far as functionality and stuff, it's close to a minivan. Not quite there, but close to a minivan as far as functionality goes. So if you're looking to drive something with minivan-esque capabilities, or storage and all that kind of stuff, but you don't want to look like you're driving a minivan, this is pretty close to it. So if you liked what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos, and give me a thumbs up. Also, be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you liked, what you want to see different, what other vehicles you want to see. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down, and still comment down below. I want to hear what you didn't like about it. Thanks again. Have a great day.